Do you care if your sales employees are productive or not? I'm guessing you do, or you'd be out of business, and fast. But how do you know how productive your sales team really are, especially when they're working remotely? The levels of productivity from your sales team can make or break your business. Measuring productivity can help increase sales, but you can't improve what you don't measure. That's why we created Prodoscore. Prodoscore works by connecting your Google for Work business suite with Prodoscore's powerful business intelligence interface that creates visibility into the workplace like never before. Prodoscore uses a proprietary algorithm to measure an employee's productivity. These metrics are then displayed in a simple and easy-to-use interface from the cloud, allowing you, the employer, to make high-level management decisions with confidence that improve your company's productivity that can in turn help increase sales. And that's just the beginning. Prodoscore can also provide insight into the productivity level of your employees on chat, docs, email, CRMs, communication platforms including conference calling, screen sharing tools, your Chrome browser, and a host of other cloud business applications as well, all in one place. Go to Prodoscore.com today to sign up for a free trial. Prodoscore, you can't improve what you don't measure.
Let me ask you, as a business, I know I've spoken with some of you guys out here today, but how many of you have issues with productivity of your workforce? Raise your hands. That's probably why you're here, right? Right? Okay, good. Just making sure you guys are listening. So what we want to do is here, what we're going to really focus on is what Prodoscore does is we take all of the applications that you guys currently see with Google and all the other providers that you'll see here, excuse me, and what we do is we are able to take that data and we can hopefully drive more productivity for all employees. So what we're trying to solve is we can understand that companies, they spend a lot of money on the tools, obviously migrating to Google, migrating to a UC platform. What we're finding is companies out there, they want to understand adoption and validate that transformation for their company. They want to increase productivity of all individuals within that company, and they want to make sure, hopefully, they can increase their bottom line, right? So they can have more revenue. So that's what Prodoscore was kind of built on. So when we talk about it, the solution, as I mentioned, what we're talking about is productivity, but what we're really doing today is we're actually focusing on how can we use the tools that are out there. So Google's machine learning, which we learned about from Mike, inherently gives the ability for the end user, either you or any company out there that's on the Google ecosystem, the ability to tap into machine learning and use that hopefully to drive productivity and efficiency within your company. And Prodoscore was built with that in mind. So what we leverage is ultimately your G Suite. So all the applications that you as a G Suite user are currently using today, we tap into that and we pull all the data from your Gmail, your calendars, your docs, your drives. We also integrate with all the other business applications you use. So I'm guessing multiple companies out there have made the migration over to VoIP, right? So we've got Ring Central here tonight. So that's a good business application that we can also pull in. We connect to that API. On top of that, what we do is we connect with CRMs. So we've got Salesforce here tonight. So those are probably some good pieces of data that you're using on a day-to-day basis to gauge the productivity of your people, understand how you can forecast whether it be revenue from a sale, excuse me, a sale or a revenue maybe just increasing how I can understand validating adoption of a product that I'm going to migrate to. So what we do at Prodoscore is we take all of that and we pull that data through without asking your people to do anything additional to their normal job function, and we apply weights to that. And what those weights then pump into our algorithm, which is pending, and then we're able to apply a score. So as a manager, what you get is quickly and easily understand what your people do on a day-to-day basis, what technology they use. You can also drill into the content. So what we're able to do then with the help of machine learning is quickly and easily understand over time what a user might need to do in order to achieve the most productivity within their company. So by solving that, we can hopefully quickly and easily allow an IT director who might be sitting in the room here understand and validate that migration, that transformation, right? That's obviously a big fear for IT is if I put my company through all the trials and tribulations of migrating to a new platform, is my COO going to be happy with this, right? So we can help with that. We can also help from a sales enablement So we can understand from a recruitment, I want to hire the right people because I have quantitative and qualitative data that relies on the data of actually what your employees are doing today. On top of that, we can then use that to hopefully train them properly based on actually facts, rather than just fishing and saying, I don't know what the top players do. And hopefully what that's going to do is allow you to replicate your A players, whether that be sales, HR, accounting, and hopefully then you can use that to drive up productivity and efficiency through your company. Seems pretty novel, right? So what we've done is really the secret sauce, right? And that's what Prodoscore applies. So we've taken the machine learning capabilities that is already built into those applications, and through the APIs, we pull that data through, and then we eliminate the micromanaging of a manager, an IT director, or any of the people that are relying on that data on a day-to-day basis, and allow them to quickly and easily understand what my people do and how they're trending across an organization. So, as I mentioned, these are the applications that we integrate with today. We also have a significant amount of roadmap of applications that we're constantly adding. But the goal is, in the future, to have a connection or an open API platform. So any business application that you as a customer use today, and you want to pull that analytics through, in the future, hopefully we'll be able to pull into Prodoscore, and you'll be able to use that to understand productivity and hopefully run your company more efficiently. So I'm going to jump into a demo. Let me show you this. So what we see here, this is the dashboard. So obviously in the room here today, we probably have many managers, admins, people that ultimately manage a team of either accounting people, IT, sales, whatever that might be. This is going to be the dashboard that you would see. So when we talk about a company, we have the ability to go through, and what we do is we can see the date range. And we can quickly and easily, as you'll see on here, there's a score. When we talk about a score, this score is going to be organizationally based. As I mentioned earlier, we are focusing on a user, right? So this is going to be all users within the organization. So you don't have accounting, you don't have HR, you don't have sales. This might be informative to you, but really what this dashboard allows you to do is quickly and easily understand where I want to focus. So if I want to focus on probably my lower performing individuals within that organization, I can quickly see, well, Hilton needs some work, right? And I know that from a management perspective, I want to focus on that. I want to replicate my top players. I can click into that. You'll see a score. Now, these scores that you see on each individual is actually going to be specific to their user role. So obviously, when we talk about user roles, this is what we're able to do is understand, based on that user role within your specific organization, what they should be doing. And how we're doing that is, when you install Prodoscore with your admin rights, you pull that. What we do is we pull 90 days worth of data. Now that 90 days allows us to understand, based on your organization and that user within the organization, what their job function should be. So with the help of machine learning, we can calculate, based on their actual actions moving forward, how they're increasing or decreasing in productivity. Does that make sense?
Question.
Sure.
You're talking about the employees.
Mm-hmm.
What you're not talking about is the manager of those employees, and how do you find the problems with that manager and help that manager.
So if I want to click into that manager, right? So we click into that. So I clicked into Brendan. So in this demo account, so we've got that manager, right? So that manager is an employee. So we're able to understand what that employee does as well. So I can click in and I can see that Brendan's the manager, who's actually who the manager works for, right? I can even click all the way up to that. If I want to understand what their average subordinate score would be, the manager's score, and if I want to click into any of these individuals within that, that's where I get back to the employee view. So really, at the end of the day, a manager is an employee, correct? Right? So what we're doing is we're able to pull the data based on any individual. We have some giggles in the room, so I'm guessing that there's, okay, a lot of questions. All right, go ahead.
Does his productivity go up because he asks the right questions?
He does. It does. It does. We'll have to get you installed on Prodoscore to do so, but we'll work on that. I'll answer one more question, then I'm going to jump back into this. Okay. Okay.
data are you able to gather? Because it is in a way.
Sure.
Tell me if I'm actually doing my job or not.
Sure.
Left and
Right.
That doesn't mean anything.
I did not plant him, but I'm driving into that right here. Yes.
Salesforce change screens and machine learning tell you that I'm actually look like I'm working. And on my iPhone, I'm going to get on my date to my girlfriend. So it's not really I'm sorry to be straightforward, but
Sure. Sure. So let me show this. Hopefully this answers your question. Sure. So what So let me show you what we are pulling. So I clicked on Sammy Robbins. So Sammy works for Brendan, who I showed you, right? So Brendan's the manager. So I can understand what Brendan does to manage Sammy to a point of success, right? I can click in here and I can say, well, I want to understand what that 80 is made up of. Now, this is what I'm talking about when we talk about the data we're pulling, right? So I'm able to pull through the APIs, through the different applications that we integrate with, all of the data. Now I can click in and say, I want to see those 30 emails. I can see who they sent to that email to, when they sent that email to, and the content of that email. So qualitatively, and the actions, right? So there's definitely, and these is obviously, there's privacy concerns that we can stress for you. Yes.
Regarding cross-training.
Mm-hmm.
So the Prodoscore is calculated based on the job description for one role.
Mm-hmm.
When we have cross-training and someone else is doing for one day,
Yeah.
a different role, is that?
These are great questions. Let me go through the demo, guys. I love this engagement. I wish I could talk for hours. Unfortunately, we have limited time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through the demo. Hopefully, it'll answer most of your questions. And then we will have Q&A at the end. And obviously, we can always table. I know you have my contact information. So let me show you this. So when we talk about this, what this allows me to do as a manager of Sammy or an admin, this is obviously only the managers and admins have ability to see this data. I can understand how they spend their time. I can click into that at any point in time. I can then go across and say, I want to click into specific activities. Now, to answer the gentleman's question is, if I'm going to be constantly trying to game this system, and I can just go text and I can do all these other things, and I'm just trying to do productivity just to increase my Prodoscore by maybe putting fictitious calls in, I can make fictitious emails, I can put fictitious items into my calendar. This is where Prodoscore and the machine learning capabilities come into play. If you notice that there's some items that have been whited out. Now, the reason being is I can click in as a manager and say, you know what, this actually doesn't really affect the productivity of this worker. I can click into that and remove that. Now you see there's already items that have been whited out. So those aren't affecting their Prodoscore. So there is definitely the ability to check somebody's productivity. And what we're able to do then is also through the machine learning, so over time it will understand what's productivity enhancing versus what's not. Now, obviously, we clicked into the Gmails. We can click into any of these specific things. Now, obviously, we talk about integrating with your phone system. I'm sure today you have a VoIP phone system, and depending on your user role, it's very important that they make a certain amount of dials, right, to hit whatever that quota attainment is or accomplish whatever that might be, whether it be customer care, relations, things like that. We pull all that data through as well. If it's integrated with their CRM, like Salesforce, we can pull that actual contact through as well. So if you really think that person's not being productive, like this gentleman just requested, you can actually see the content if you want to dig into it. You can see if they're dialing that girlfriend continually or if they're making dials to certain individuals. The ability for you as a manager is to quickly and easily understand how the people are using the technology, and hopefully you can use that to change how you onboard them, train them, as well as retain them. So it's a full operational thing. We talk about settings. I'm just going to drill into that real quick for you. It's quick and easy. So we're not asking from a user role for them to do anything different than what they normally do. All you have to do is have your super admin rights. This will populate and will give you all the different Google users. You can then choose the different category to answer your question, right? So you just choose their user role, and we have the ability to do custom user roles if required. And I know I've talked to a couple people in the room. We can definitely do that for you guys. Manager visibility. Obviously, if it's a contractor, I don't really care if they do their job or not or how they do it, just as long as it gets completed. You can choose that. Time setting is pretty self-explanatory. You just set all this up. Out of the 5,000 users that we have, the majority of them have been self-installs, but we do have a full customer onboarding process to make sure your data is accurate and make sure you understand how to use this tool, but very user-friendly. And with this, you just go through and choose your integrations. And when we talk about integrations, we integrate with many different products out there, but we have our conference calls, your phone systems. As we mentioned, we've got Ring Central here tonight. We also do connect with BroadSoft, but we do have our CRMs. We've got 3 different CRMs, and we're working on exclusive content with Salesforce specifically, and we're very excited about highlighting them tonight. So let me tell you, as a sales director for my organization, this is helpful, but at the end of the day, it's still productivity only if I can train them accurately, right? So what we've done at Prodoscore is we've taken that data and we've taken it to the next level. So when we talk about this is our correlations platform. So when we talk about correlations is we take all of the applications that we're pulling through, and with the natural language protocol, we're able to pull out certain words or statements or things to understand what's trending across that organization. Let's just call it for the hashtag for your business. So when we talk about that, what we can see here is the same date ranges. I can see the content or the topics when they're mentioned within an organization. And then below that, I have the ability to see who's talking about that specific product. And to the right, I can see how they're talking about that product. I can go down and drill into that if I really want to. But the key for us from an organization is, let's just say I want to sell purple ice cream. I want to sell purple ice cream, and that's my big initiative for an organization. Or as customer care, I want to focus on specific initiative or focusing on that. I can understand if my people are talking about that, how they're talking about it, when they're talking about it. And in addition, we can show them who they're talking about it with. So these are contexts outside the domain. When I talk about contexts outside the domain, these are most likely customers or prospects. You can click into any of these individuals and have the ability to see who's talking with them, how they're talking with them, and hopefully, if I look into any of that content, I can see, well, this might be a sales-related issue, it might be a customer care-related issue, it could be anything, right? But as a manager, this allows me to know if that's trending across my organization. I can then change the behaviors and then hopefully increase the metrics for that. And this is really not just a sales-focused tool, but it can be used in any aspects to understand what's trending across your organization. I know I'll let you do one question, but I do have some time constraints, so go ahead. I'm sorry? So what we do with this, and at the end, we're gonna have our product team come up here. Our director of product is Harpreet in the back. You have to imagine that all the data that we're pulling here is based on specific topics that your individuals are actually mentioning. So we're not pulling any data outside of your existing company. Yeah. I'm not understanding exactly what you're looking for, but we can probably table that. So
DLP functionality, which can be addressed with Google.
Yeah, we can address. I mean, obviously on that, it's whatever platform you're pulling the data from, it would be those same standards. So that's really my demo. I'm just going to kind of jump back real quick into my slides. I just wanted to highlight quickly some use cases, because obviously at the end of the day, it comes down to how these applications actually being used to increase productivity. That's the big question, right? So we have an organization called Grow Group. They are an organization that has been a Salesforce user for many, many years. They are a diverse company. They have employees dispersed throughout the US, throughout EMEA, as well as I believe in Asia Pac. But anyway, one of their major issues was adoption, and that adoption was for Salesforce. Obviously a very productive tool when used properly, The key is used, right? So many companies have issues with adoption. The goal for them was they came on to Prodoscore and they were looking for us to increase adoption of that, but also increase productivity. They saw an increase in over 25% of Salesforce just by Prodoscore. One, because their people knew that they would be increasing their Prodoscore and there was a gamification piece to it. And two, hopefully the managers were able to then teach them how they should use those tools more properly. And then the last one I would say, we've seen an increase in employee productivity based on the ability for companies to understand how their employees use their tools, but also on top of that, changing the training and the quality of that. And we've seen with this specific company, Cloud Codes, an increase of 20%, just lead generation, which has driven more revenue for the company. So that's Prodoscore, and I just want to thank you guys all for your time. We will have Q&A at the end, so look forward to that.